Feeling exhausted after people and wondering why something that looks so easy for others leaves you drained and quiet and questioning yourself is one of the most common silent experiences of deep thinkers because society praises social energy but rarely explains social recovery, and psychology says that feeling tired after interaction is not weakness but information from your nervous system telling you something important about how your brain works and protects itself. The truth is that needing alone time after socializing is not about being antisocial or broken, but about how your brain processes stimulation, emotions, and meaning, and research shows that certain minds require space not to escape people but to return to themselves and regulate what they just absorbed. When you socialize, your brain is not just listening to words, it is reading facial expressions, tracking tone, predicting reactions, and regulating your own responses all at the same time, and psychology calls this cognitive load, which means mental energy is constantly being spent even when the conversation feels casual, and for people with higher self-awareness or introverted processing styles, the brain stays active longer because it searches for meaning, nuance, and emotional accuracy, which slowly drains mental resources even if you enjoyed the interaction. Neuroscience also shows that social interaction raises cortisol and dopamine levels, which are useful in short bursts but exhausting when sustained, and your nervous system, especially if it is more sensitive, needs time to return to baseline, and this is why you might feel fine during the conversation but suddenly tired afterward because your body delays the signal until safety and quiet return and your brain finally releases the tension it was holding together. Another reason is emotional processing, because some brains do not process feelings in real time but instead store them to be unpacked later, and research on emotional regulation shows that reflective minds revisit interactions privately to understand what was felt, what was meant, and what was learned, and this is not rumination but integration because your mind is organizing social data so it can respond better next time. There is also the role of sensory recovery because social environments are full of sounds, micro-expressions, movement, and unpredictability, and psychology explains that people with higher sensory processing sensitivity absorb more input per second, which makes their experience richer but also heavier, and alone time acts like a reset button, allowing the nervous system to release excess stimulation and return to balance. Finally, psychology points to identity regulation, which means that being around others requires adjusting behavior, tone, and expression, and even small shifts cost energy, and alone time allows you to realign with your natural state so your brain can relax its monitoring systems and restore a sense of internal coherence, which is why solitude often feels grounding rather than lonely. So when you step back after socializing, it is not because something is wrong with you, but because your brain is doing maintenance, organizing emotions, resetting stress levels, and protecting depth. And research consistently shows that people who honor this need are often more emotionally intelligent, self-aware, and resilient because they listen to what their nervous system asks for instead of forcing themselves to perform endlessly. If this explains something you have always felt but never had words for, stay connected here, because understanding your mind changes how you treat yourself. And if you want more psychology that reframes who you are into what you are, subscribe and share this with someone who needs permission to rest.